If there is one single habit that most millionaires have, it would be reading.
So early reading lets you imagine all these situations and start to think of yourself, could I ever run a business? Could I ever discover something in science?
But I encourage people to read a lot of books. Basically, try to ingest as much information as you can.
I just read and read and read. I probably read 5 to 6 hours a day.
There is so much wisdom in the books that they can literally transform our life. So in this video, I'll introduce you to the top 4 personal finance books that I read in 2023. These books will guide you in saving money, building wealth, and managing your finances effectively. These books changed my life for the better, and I hope they can do the same for you. So let's get started. This book is not just about money. It is more of a practice in clear thinking. However, since the author Rolf Dobelli is a businessman with a doctorate in economics, there are many insights in this book from the world of management and financial investments. We often believe that we are rational decision makers, but in reality, we often make simple errors in our day-to-day thinking. What's even more strange is that we may not even recognize these mistakes unless we actively reflect on them. This practice is called metacognition, and by learning to identify these errors, we can avoid them and make better choices, whether it's in relationships, career, or starting a business. For example, the very common confirmation bias, which is a tendency to interpret new information in a way that aligns with our existing beliefs. For example, when we go on social media platforms, we tend to follow people and consume news and content from sources that reinforce our own values, regardless of whether they are liberal, conservative, or somewhere in between. Another interesting one is the contrast effect. Research shows that people are willing to go the extra mile, whether it's walking or driving, to save $10 on food. However, those same people wouldn't consider doing the same to save $10 on a $1,000 suit. Logically, 10 minutes is 10 minutes and $10 is $10. So the decision should be consistent. But somehow that's not how it works. The $1,000 price on the suit acts as a psychological anchor, creating a barrier that distorts the decision-making process. This book summarizes these type of cognitive biases in 99 concise chapters. So you are sure to find something that makes you say, "Oh, I didn't realize I was doing that." There are many books that go deep into cognitive biases and flaws in our thinking. If you have read books like Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman or Black Swan by Nassim Taleb, you may find similar ideas there. However, this book ties them all together and provides a TLDR version of those authors' works, allowing you to identify topics that interest you and then explore them further. The only drawback of this book is that you are likely to forget the majority of its content shortly after finishing it. Therefore, after you are done reading, I would highly recommend sitting down with a pen and paper, identifying the biases you encounter in your day-to-day life, and be mindful of them. Now, this book is not for everyone because it mainly talks about content creation and marketing, but it is particularly interesting for those who are planning to start a personal brand and then scale it to sell products and make money. Also, existing entrepreneurs who need a boost in their brand could also get most from this book. For someone new to the area of content marketing, this is a great beginner guide with lots of thoughtful suggestions. The absolute best way to start a business today is not by launching a product, but by creating a system to attract and build an audience. The takeaway here is the importance of focusing on the audience and their needs and wants. From how to select a platform for your content to how to sell products through stories, this book has a lot of practical advice. But then, this book was written in 2015, and since the digital world is a rapidly changing environment, some of the content is already a bit outdated. Now, there are 3 types of people in the world: those who love Alex Hormozi, those who hate him, and those who don't have a clue who he is. But regardless of your feelings towards him, it doesn't diminish the value that this book offers. With 500,000 copies sold, it is one of the best-selling books on sales that I have ever read. Now, truth be told, I was a bit skeptical after reading the title. But as they say, don't judge a book by its cover. For a beginner entrepreneur, this is the ideal starting point. This book presents a framework for positioning your offer in a competitive market, allowing you to stand out and differentiate yourself from the competition. In this book, you can also find helpful resources like checklists and templates to analyze your own business and strengthen your offer. There are 2 quotes from this book that I found really interesting. If you play the same game as everyone else, you will get the same results as everyone else. You want to be the guy who services this type of person or solves this type of problem. And even more niche, I solved this type of problem for this specific type of person in this unique counterintuitive way that reverses the deepest fear. This book is a must read for everyone who wants to succeed in business and in life. All the books we have discussed so far have focused on making and managing money. But this book by Bill Perkins takes a different approach and offers an alternative perspective on how to spend your money and when to do so. The title may be a bit confusing, but the book doesn't imply that you should refrain yourself from giving money to your family or to charity. It encourages us to spend money on things that we love and not die with a huge bank balance. But I have to stress here that this book may not be for everyone. If you are currently struggling to make ends meet, if you are finding it hard to put food on the table for yourself and your family, then you may find the concepts in this book a bit overwhelming or detached from your immediate reality. But as it is written in the book, if you have enough resources and money, if you are saving too much for your own good, if you are more in love with the paycheck you bring home than with the daily experience of being in your office, then you should take time to do a status check on your life and determine what you really want to get out of it. At 200 pages, this book is quite long and could have been easily condensed into a blog post. But that doesn't take away from the unique perspective the book offers and how it could influence a lot of people to live a more fulfilling life. It made me reflect on my life more purposefully and deliberately, so much so that I even made a video discussing the core concept in this book. If you're interested, you can check it out here. I hope you got at least one book to add to your 2024 reading goals. Let me know in the comments below about any interesting books you have read recently. I'm always in search of books to read that can have a positive impact on my life. If you want to see more similar content about building wealth and happiness, then do subscribe to the channel. Until I see you with another video, have a wonderful rest of the day and adios.